Pascal. I'm working for Powerslide about the speed product, and today I'm with Pablo, and he's a more urban skater.
Urban skating, downhill, and mostly everything I like, but I'm more in urban side.
Yeah, we often meet at Powerslide office or in Barcelona like today, and usually I see him in the street. He has super long frame, so today we will talk about the topic, how the frame length influence our skating, and we will give you some details about all these frames. So Pablo, maybe first we can talk about what's usually written on the frame, because there is a lot of text on the frames.
Yes, here in this frame, for example, we have these big letters, big number here is the length of the frame, and this is the more noticeable in this frame, for example. And something that we can say about this one is that the length is from the first and from the holes, from one hole, the first and the last hole, right, Pascal?
Yeah,
not from the wheel.
Exactly, and when we measure the frame, we don't measure from the front part and the back part of the frame. Those is more design part. The length of the frame is calculated from the center of the front and back axle. So you have a 275 millimeter frame, and on that skate I have a 300 millimeter frame long. So we can see the length of the frame with two different numbers, or it's described in millimeter, or it's described like with a number 11.8 is the equivalent in the English metric system, I think, compared to 300 millimeters here. So you find on some skate the two different reference of length, or sometimes you just find the reference 300 millimeters, 275, 240 millimeters.
Other things that we can see in this frame, we have the wheel size. The maximum wheel size that you can put, for example, in this frame is 90, and other aspects like rocker in this case, and the material. Mostly we have aluminum, and the system, mounting system, that is Trinity. And Pascal,
on
the difference?
On this frame from the R6 Marathon, we have similar information. You have the maximum wheel setup, so 3 times 125 millimeters on the skate, and it's not a Trinity frame setup here. It's a frame that is accept the 165 mounting or the 195 mounting. But most important actually when we skate is how long is the frame. And when you want to select what you want to do on your skate, if you are doing speed, we are probably using usually a longer frame. When you are urban, usually we go with a more shorter frame. But still, I see you're always skating with a super long frame. Can you tell me why, Pablo?
Well, it's for fun, mostly, because with big wheels we have the feeling that we are in skis, and it's a bit different thing because the turn point is not in the center of the skate, probably it's in the toes, so you have to turn using the toes and the heels, and this is something different, and now it's a bit trendy because you can be fast in the city, but also is agile if you know how to use it. It's not for the beginners. For the beginners it's better a shorter frame, but when you are a bit bored of shorter frames, you can try a different thing that is a super long frame that mostly is used for marathons or for other things. But now in Barcelona we see more and more big frames and big wheels.
Why is it easy to start with a shorter frame actually?
Something that is not easier with shorter frames is that it's easier to fail, because if you are with the weight in the back, maybe you can fail back, and if you are in the front, you can fail in the front. But because of the turns, it's easier, because with shorter frames, it's easier to turn. The resistance that we have with the floor is less big than with the big wheels.
Exactly. If the frame is long, this is why in speed we use longer frame, so we have less problem to manage the stability front to back, and basically the frame is doing the job for us. When you have more fitness skate or urban skate with a shorter frame, you have more energy to spend to manage your balance front to back, but it's so much easier to turn. Compared to the speed skate, it's harder to maneuver, to turn quickly, and so this is the advantage and disadvantage of each frame. As if the frame gets shorter, you can turn a lot easier, but you have more balance front to back to manage. If the frame is super long, easy balance front to back, but much more difficult to turn.
That's why now we use also rockering in big frames, because the Rockering gives you the opportunity to turn fast, to turn easier, and you can still use big wheels and long frames with this.
So what's the difference between Rockering and flat frame? In Speed, all the frame will be, say, like a flat frame, which means all the wheels are exactly at the same altitude, at the same height. There is no difference of height between the 3 or the 4 wheels. When you say Rockering?
Yes, in Rockering, in this case, the 2 wheels in the middle are a bit down. Can be 1 millimeter normally for this size of the frames. So this makes you not touching the floor at the same time with all the wheels. So probably if you have more weight in the back, you are touching with the 2 wheels here. If you are pushing more with the front, you are touching with these 2 wheels. So this makes you pivot with the wheels with 2 wheels instead of 4 wheels.
Yeah, it's inspired basically from ice skating. The ice skates, they have like a curve like this, and the Rockering system is simulating this on skate. But actually, when you say there is almost 2 wheels touching the grounds, it's the equivalent of having a super short frame. And so Rockering basically it helps you. You can have a longer frame that helps you to get the balance front to back easier, but still, as there is usually almost 2 wheels touching the ground, it's super easy to turn and you get this free maneuverability on the skate. So super useful.
Something more is the push.
The push, yes. Usually in speed skate, you see we have longer frame, because when the frame is longer, it's much easier to feel the direction of your push. It's much easier to feel where you have to push on the skate. Compared to urban, the skate are a shorter frame. We don't need to go so fast when we do urban, even if we see some super fast urban skater. And Nick Lomax, when we cross him in the street, he's always going fast and making super crazy jump with a lot of speed. But it's harder to find the push on a shorter frame for sure.
It's probably easier to start, but harder to go with a higher speed. No, for me, in my case, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the case, and actually, also the difference. And when you see sometime in speed skates, we have some frames that are 12.8 long or 13.0, and the difference is maybe not even 3 or 4 millimeters. Not exactly sure of the exact difference, but it looks super small. It looks like there is no influence, but actually, the difference is big. So don't think it's a small difference between this frame 300 millimeters and this frame 275. It's a huge difference. You can turn much more on this one than on this one. So it's the difference. Even if it looks small, it has a lot of impact on the way we will skate. So when you select your skate, when you want to go urban or fitness or speed or whatever segment you like, make sure you check the length of the frame, because it will impact a lot, it will influence a lot the way you will skate later. Thanks, Pablo, for this talk. I hope we can bring you some cool information and that you will check back your skates and see how you can manage your next frame when you want to buy some new one.